the one that we call Wize El Jefe. Talk to me about the relationship and the bond that you two share. It seems to be the two of you are like each other's best friend.
Well, not to assume that I'm his best friend. not, not
Welcome to Revelations, the place where we speak truth to power. I'm Cole Johnson, and I'm so glad you're able to join me. Our next guest has been to prison, but that's only a small part of his journey. He has since gotten out of that life and has blossomed into a successful one in property maintenance and now is dabbling into the creative world. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of A1 Plus One Property Maintenance, the CEO of Real Wise Productions, and the author of the Plush Life, along with being one half of the Papi Jae and Wize El Jefe show / podcast, Anthony Jae Gonzalez. But I know him better as Papi Jae. And this is his revelation. How you doing, sir?
How you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Man, it is good to have you here, man. I'm glad that you've made it on here. And yeah, we're gonna have a good conversation, man, because I've peeped you for a little bit. I'm like, this man has a lot to say, and I like the things that you're saying. So I think I'm gonna have an interesting conversation, and I'm gonna learn a lot. And normally, how we get things going on this show is that since you're a first time guest, we hope that you're welcome, and this is the internet home for me. But we like to do what is called open the way. Now, with Open the Way, conversation starts when vulnerability enters the room. Now, for what I understand, you are Brooklyn born and Brooklyn bred. I hope I have that right.
Definitely.
That's what I thought. So, how was life growing up in that particular borough of New York?
Uh, I loved it. I mean, I guess looking back, it was more it's your environment. So I can't really like trash it. It wasn't the best upbringing,
Right.
but it was one of those where in our generation you had to learn. Like you had there was not a lot of how is it now? Like protection. Like the parents are overprotective now. So kids
Right.
don't are not prepared for the street. Back
Right.
then it was a with the crack pandemic and all that stuff, it just wasn't a lot of overprotection. So when your parents wasn't home, you had to figure it out. So it was a it was my path. I was supposed to walk that path. Not nothing to brag about, nothing to like hang my head down about, but it wasn't easy, fun. It was just a learning process. That's how I interpreted it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the term latchkey kid around because I think I grew up around the same time you did. That was prevalent and popular. And considering the layout that what you just said, that a lot of the things that you had to do, you had to learn yourself. Yeah, so I totally understand that. All right, so I think you sort of hit the nail on the head a bit. I guess you can drive the nail further down. So, what is a benefit and what is a drawback of growing up in New York?
The benefit of the benefit at the time was family. Family was
Yeah.
family. Like I went through some like yeah, the benefit. I'll start with the other one.
Okay.
Crack pandemic hit. Uh, it affected my family. It affected my household. And at that time, it was a tough period in my life. I was probably in junior, I want to say high school before
Mhm.
it, or junior high school. I was in junior high school.
Okay.
And it hit my house hard, like viciously, like
Mm.
ransacked my house. And the benefit of growing up in Brooklyn was at that time was just family was family. Family came to help. Family came to save. So me and my siblings wound up getting saved by Wise's, my uncle, my aunts. Like they came and they got
Mm.
us. And when you think about it now as an adult, families ain't like that. So if I could have, who knows where we would have been, me and my siblings, if family wasn't a priority back then.
Mm. Well, speaking of family, now of course, I know your uncle very well, and that he touched on it, but you could touch it on a different aspect. So, how important was your grandmother in that time?
My grandmother was like, she was like my Spanish was terrible at the time.
Hmm.
So, and she spoke only Spanish.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So I learned
yeah.
Spanish by once I moved in well
Hmm.
and really had like talking wise. I
Hmm.
understood a lot of verbiage, but talking wise, I didn't learn until I moved in well. I had to like, I couldn't ask her for nothing in English. Like that was her thing. Like, you're not asking me nothing in English. You're in the wrong house. Talk Spanish. So I had to figure out Spanish. To me, she's like everything, yo. She's energy, the love. Like her love for me
Hmm.
was insane. And
Hmm.
taking me in during that time, she was already older, and the family vouching to back her up. Because if not, then the foster place was not going to give us to her. Because she already had my uncle and my cousin in the
Right.
house,
Right.
and we coming to her, and they know she can't take care of 4 kids.
Right.
So the family, like that's what I mean. Family
Mm.
held her down. Family held us down. Like we ain't letting y'all go nowhere. Couple of aunts, couple of uncles. We're gonna help you raise these kids, and
Mm.
that's that's it.
That's nice, man. It's nice. It's great to have that type of figure that gives you a sense of who you are just from their presence, and that's a wonderful presence to have. Okay, so what did you envision doing when you were young?
When I was young, I thought I was gonna be a cop.
Hmm.
At the time, that used to be promoted a lot, a fireman. But in reality, I think a creator was always my calling.
Mm.
I used to draw. I used to write rhymes. Uh, I just knew that my hands and my mouth.
Hmm.
Sounds crazy. I got check that, but my hand between what I could create with my hands
Uh-huh.
and my mind
Hmm.
and being able to articulate it
Yeah.
was sky's the limits when you focus on when you just don't have a ceiling of what you want to be. I never had like I want to be a cop, so I'm gonna do everything under the sun, focusing on just a cop.
Right.
I just knew that at some point I'll figure it out, and here we are today.
Mm.
And I'm shocked. I was shocked, like if knowing me. Only reason why I even started doing podcasting and stuff like that is because I honestly don't care what people think. So being judged, because that's the aspect of it when you
Right.
jump into. For me, was I'm a real type street guy.
Yeah.
So being judged is not my thing. Like somebody just talking to me. So before I even embarked on this, I knew that I had to like work on myself.
Wow. That's a powerful statement. Seriously, that's a powerful statement. Because many of us don't even come to that realization until it was way, way, way late in our lives. The fact that you came upon that early and you've learned facets of it as you've matured. Yeah, you have in that aspect, you have it way over many people. I figured that you had something hip hop like related in you. Uh, so describe when you were a child and when you were in high school. Describe the hip hop scene back then in Brooklyn and what drew you to it.
Breakdance.
Nice. Nice.
Just the breakdancing era was just before all the violence. I mean, there's always violence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every party's gonna have maybe one fight. You might walk away from a party without a fight or leave the park without a fight. But when that DJ plugged in them speakers and turned that music on, it was a village. Block parties, everything was I grew up in a village.
Right.
If that makes sense. The village of Brooklyn. There was a village in Brooklyn, villages within Brooklyn. And I grew up in a village. So within a 4 or 5 block radius, you couldn't even do nothing without your parents finding out. You couldn't really go crazy. You wasn't grown, man. Somebody was telling.
Right.
And it wasn't, and that was the community. And that's like, those are the things that drive me now. You know what I'm saying? It motivates me to bring that back. So there was nothing wrong with that. We change things sometimes that we don't need to change. I mean, evolution is going to happen, but certain morals and values shouldn't change with evolution. Your way of thinking and your way of interpreting the new world that is before you has to adapt. But the village is the village, man. Nobody was in competition with nobody. And that rap music was just, I was an LL fan, Run DMC. I did my X-Clan. I did all of it. I tested all the waters. I mean, I listened to all genres. I always listen to all genres. So music was just, it soothes the savage beast for real.
You're right about that. We'll be right back with more Papi Jae. This is Revelations. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, Wize.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. entrepreneur, podcaster, and, well, just an extraordinary good guy and author. Papi Jae joins me on Revelations. He has opened the way quite nicely, and now it's time for us to walk across that bridge to prosperity. Now, this is where we link childhood lessons to adult application. Where did the nickname Papi originate?
It's just a Spanish term for men. When women, it was a
Right.
Papi. Like that was just tell the truth. When I that name just came about once I decided I was going into podcasting.
Okay.
Or so it came from just I'm a father, and J is just the letter. The J stands for Jordan. J stands for so much. Like just the jungle. Like it's just I've been through the jungle. I've been in the jungle. Like we all have stories and sad stories, but I came out of the jungle and I'm here. And I'm 49, so I got to brag. So Papi Jae was just easier for the ladies to say. I wasn't focused on men saying, I don't care. You can say it however you want, but it was always for the women. It was always for like. But Papi Jae is just because I learned that a father is more than a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like being called daddy because that don't mean you fathering your child. It just means that you birthed your child. A father to me is Papi. Like, I'm Papi Jae. Like, I'm a father. I may not be the perfect father. It may took a while for me to learn and evolve into the father that I am now. But I am a father. I'm not a daddy. I don't care. That's just anybody can be a daddy, stepdaddy, everything. Like that's it's not a slight towards those people because I've been a step. Well, I don't even like the word step. It's just father. Like if you can't call me father, then you're gonna call me Godfather. But you're not gonna call me dad, stepdad. I don't want to be introduced like that. I want to like because it's like a wedge in the love that you are willing to give to the step versus the one you have no problem saying is my son. So Papi is more than just, it started out for the ladies, but I grew. I evolve I try to grow every day in some aspect. Like even when I look at the names I had, I try to break it down and figure out why I came up with that name. Like what was the significance of this or what was the significance of that? So I'm really into like tuned in with myself, into like the ghetto profiler. You know what I'm saying? Like I listen to people. I stay quiet. I go out, I'm quiet. I'm in the cut and I just watch behaviors. And then I try to figure out why behaviors, like, what made you do that? And that's where I'm at in life right now. Like, it's just paying attention to your surroundings. I think that the world is changing. I don't think it's in our favor. And this is like a portal of everybody has this opportunity to solidify themselves in the new era, decade, or whatever you want to call it. That new world order, the new one that's about to come after they cross their T's and dot their I's with all these new laws. I just pay attention. I don't have time to get lost again. I was lost once. I was in the jungle. Don't want to go back.
You're drawn by the allure of street life, and well, thankfully you're alive, so that's another aspect of what could be the end. But what situation got you put in jail?
Federal conspiracy to distribute.
It's a federal crime. Ooh.
Yeah, this last one. I've been there a couple of times, but this last one was a federal conspiracy that this one I learned they don't play fair. Like, it was a federal conspiracy. There was no drugs sold. There was no sale indictments. There was nobody captured with drugs. This is just people talking on the phone and not knowing how to talk. And when I realized they can do that, when I actually was like, they were like, oh, feds, you ain't never going to win, 99% conviction rate.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got into that cesspool, I realized that I had to sit down and reevaluate where my head is at.
Jeez, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I spent probably the first year writing, like, which is now probably 1, 2, I would say 3, probably like 3 manuscripts, all based on my life, all based on personal experiences, all like, I was my therapist at that time. Now, when I look back at it and I realized I was like pre-therapy, like I was gearing myself up to be able to be open to talking to someone as a therapist. So the first book I put out, all personal, 95% facts, true story. Just people, places, and things I had to edit so nobody could just, I remember that. But the first book, Confession of a Man, The Evolution of a Player, that's all my personal, that'll give you an idea of how I viewed women, of being a street person, how I went into the game dedicated to respecting the game. So if I'm a player, then I'm a player. I don't got time to be loved and then playing. Like, I was a player. There was no wifing, moving in with me, sharing beds. Like, it was nothing. I was a strictly player. I'm not here to play no games and mislead anyone. Everything out of that is your own fantasy world, what you think you can get me to agree to. But I was a good player, like a good one. I respect the rules, because everything is about rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go in a street game, there's rules. You know you could die. Should my family go kill the person that killed me? No. If they do, some of them was closer to me than others. But at the end of the day, the game calls for that. The street life warrants death, prison, and if you're lucky, success. So I just spent the first year like realizing that I was going through time and just figuring out everything. I didn't have time to blame nobody. I think I actually blamed myself, which made me look at myself. So the first book, that was my player playback. I went all the way back and then just played it and wrote it down. And then in my book, the confessions were where I really was at that time and why I chose to do certain things. And then from prison to peace, Plush Life, it was just the reinstilling those morals, those values, that integrity, because we all have it and it all gets diluted, and you just can't let it get washed away to where you just a savage.
More with Papi Jae on the other side.
That's why we here on this platform.
Marriage, a loving splendor, a daily grind. Such is the case when Damien and Jamie get together and chop it up, for marriage is real.
Let's just lay it all out here. Let's just be real with it.
Join this wonderful couple who keeps it real and always in love. BS3 Network proudly presents Marriage is Real, where love is the only thing that matters. Live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central. Oh, and Jamie has something to say.
Deuces and trays.
Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you. One ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker. Author, podcaster, and entrepreneur Papi Jae joins me on Revelations. He has opened the way and walked across that bridge. Now it is time for us to get behind the purpose. And we're behind the purpose. This is the reason why we function the way we do. Now, you mentioned your time being incarcerated. What was the biggest lesson you learned while you were incarcerated?
Biggest lesson. Whew. There's a lot of lessons in there. Don't disappear again. I lost a lot of family members in prison.
Wow.
I lost a lot of family members. I could count probably, I could get to my second hand, if I'm not mistaken, of family members, grandfather, father, uncle, aunts. Ooh, man. That was it. Remember, family, that brought me back to what that's when I realized it's family. Nothing else satisfies me. The streets didn't satisfy me. I was good at it. I had the adrenaline for that life. Like anybody that know me, out of everybody that we was in the streets with, I was in the streets, like all the time. So, and it just wasn't satisfying. And I was chasing something that I didn't realize until recently, and that was that clan, that group, your clique. That is what draws me more than anything. It's just being around a bunch of people that we all on the same path. We all trying to get it. We all hanging. We friends. We eat together. Our families is together. Like that was the picture from Wu-Tang, from mobster movies. Like people just erase the fact that there was killers in mobster movies and everything. There's gonna be chaos, but the loyalty of a team which is family is like, and I had it, and I ran to the streets. So I had to regain that back. That's what I realized I was missing, that was my biggest lesson, is like, don't disappear again. After the losses, after like never being able to say anything to my father changed me forever before he passed. Not to be able to be there, see him, nothing. Like that was insane. I almost got in more trouble being in jail just from hearing that news. That walk to the chapel is different, man. You know it's something bad. You just don't know who it is. And my father, like I tell everybody, man, I was raised by two men. I looked up to two men and two men only. I got a lot of other influencers, but they all family. And my father was number one, and my uncle, who was a gay man, was number two. He taught me more about being a man than, I think that's why I never blamed my parents for for the choices they made. It's
Mm.
like he prepared me as a child to be militant. And in this world, you have to be a little militant. You can't wear your heart on your sleeve. You can't, like, for me, that's just the way he raised me, as a militant gay man in the 90s, early 90s and 80s. He was one of those old, and he was a vet, a sergeant. Like, it was like I was almost a military kid,
Right.
without ever going to the base, which is, I must say, if done correctly, is a very crucial thing that we all should experience at some time. It's just to be militant, to not always show that you're angry, to not always want to just lose your mind. It's just crazy. Like, I'll give everything to my uncle and my pops for, like, most of who the man I am today. Then all the women in my family is just the ones that gave me you don't have to show sensitivity, and you don't have to show emotions because of the things I learned from my uncle. But it's only right to be sensitive, have that vulnerability, and just learn how to extract it without it be coming out like, I'm a man, I can't be sensitive, so I'm out to just punch people in the face. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, never going back. At the end of the day, that's my biggest lesson from prison. It's just, you don't got to explain nothing to nobody, and you can't miss nothing if you're not there.
Ooh, yeah, that's a powerful lesson there. Wow. All right, so when you got out, what was the first thing you wanted to do?
Beat people up. I was still early. So I took the first year and just lived in a town that I didn't have no ties to.
Okay. That's smart.
So because I knew if I went back to the town that I went to, it wasn't gonna be
right.
I wouldn't have made it. So after being away for so long and realizing that, because I'm over here, people are scared to just drive to different towns when it comes to the street life. You're not just going to different neighborhoods. But in my head was, I'm not doing nothing illegal in this town. So I'm a good guy out here. They just see me as a hard worker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it helped me separate, like, that people, places, and things is so true.
Oh yeah.
Like, more true, it's so much. People don't understand the power of people, places, and things. Like, just being in the wrong place could mess your world up. The wrong people mess your world up. So it was just, but after I first came home, I just knew that I had to figure it out. I wound up getting a job. Well, jobs was never a problem for me, which is crazy, because I even worked towards the end when I was even in the drug world. Like, I've always been a painter, always been a handyman. So I knew that. And then once I realized that I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
When I could drive and don't, like, I didn't get all nervous when cops pulled me over, because I'm legit. The only thing you can do is give me a ticket. And that is it. There's nothing. You're going to search the car here, I'll help you, because I don't want nothing in here. Like, it was that type of, like, it was just, everything just played out. When I think about it now, like, I was supposed to be here. And I lost a lot of friends just being on this path, talking this positive stuff, to looking at the world different and expressing. Like, I speak like this in regular conversations because I don't be on the street stuff no more. So all I see is like, I'm a hustler.
Right.
As you can see by the long list of stuff that goes in my name.
Yeah.
Like I said, to this change, this world order change and upgrade, or whatever you want to reboot. There's a lot of opportunities, so I'm not gonna get caught in one opportunity. I'm gonna try everything: business, podcasts, radio, books, clothes, whatever, stocks. I say real estate. I like to clarify that. I'm not into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into real estates, which means a nice portion of land that can accommodate family.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna build our own communities. Like that's my goal. That's what I don't have no breaks, no more breaks. There's no breaks in between this mission that I'm on.
Mm.
And my uncle got my back, and I got some supporters that just know. And when the time is right, I already broke down. I did all the homework. I got connections with builders. I got connections with the big giant appliance markets. I used to work in all these. I network pretty good to the point where it's not. It probably costs just as much as a person is going to be stuck in a 30-year mortgage to get to even acquire more than what you're going to acquire from that little piece of real estate.
Mm.
So my vision is different. You can't change a lot. You could change a lot. I don't believe you could change the hoods. I think the hoods, this is all by design. And when we stop acting like history, then don't tell us this. So if it's by design, they're not telling you not to move and create a neighborhood, a cul-de-sac community on 20 acres or 10 acres of land. You could put a lot of people on 10 acres of land.
Right.
That's willing to understand what this community is.
Mm-hmm.
And then your children are raised in a community again. And now you got neighbors that tell you when your kid is acting up down the street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be fixed. You can't go and buy a couple of spots in Brooklyn, East New York, in the hood, and say you're going to make that into this.
We'll be right back with more Papi Jae. This is Revelations. Papi Jae.
If it wasn't consensual, you got to protect the parties. You got to be cautious. But this is two consensual adults. There's nothing to protect.
Wize El Jefe.
Could that be? Could it be that? Could it be that he's not getting the box all the time? He's not getting that slobber knocker?
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi Jae and Wize El Jefe, Fridays at 10 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. You want to watch these interviews commercial free? Well, now you can. Revelations is on Patreon. Become a patron today. Podcaster, entrepreneur, and author Papi Jae joins from Revelations. He has opened the way, walked across the bridge. He has given us the reason why he is who he is. Now it is time to bring it all to light. Now, all of us shine in a unique way, and there is no question, Jay, you definitely are of no exception to that department. And so, yes, you have mentioned your book, The P.L.U.S.H Life, From Prison to Peace. You touched on it. We'll talk a little bit more on it. But there was something that I wanted to talk about with the title of it. P.L.U.S.H. You made it an acronym. So what does P.L.U.S.H, P-L-U-S-H, mean?
P.L.U.S.H is what I deem the only way for true freedom and peace. So, and it's in the, like, P stands for peace, L stands for love, U stands for unity, S stands for success, and H stands for happiness. And I believe if you go in that order, it works. You know what I'm saying? If there's no peace, then where you getting love and unity?
You're right.
If there's no love, then where you getting unity? If there's no unity, then where's the success?
Yeah.
And if there's no success, are you really happy?
And you're right. And you can have the other four letters, but if you don't have peace, you're right. You won't be able to appreciate it.
You won't. You can't even. Yeah, you can't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because you're not at peace.
Right.
So you don't even know how to appreciate the art, the beauty of peace.
Yeah.
So the book was originally titled Steps Towards P.L.U.S.H.
Okay.
Because in my head, I was in prison, so the artwork wasn't there yet.
Right.
So in my head, when I thought about artwork and how much I could actually do myself, I just seen a picture of just steps. And somebody walking up the steps, and you just see nothing, just like a light, a door.
Right.
And you just walking towards the steps, and then peace, love, unity, success is those steps. And if you could acquire peace, love, and it was originally not from prison to peace. It was the P.L.U.S.H life. The truth hurts more than lies. And however my editor decided to go about it, which I gave her free Pepper Chambers. Shout out to Pepper Chambers. She's a very unique woman, and she gives 1,000% plus to your work. And she just changed. She just came back to me with a whole different concept. She turned it into, because it was really more the original. If I ever decide to like just publish the original writings, it probably would be like as big as a Harry Potter book. That's how much self-reflection I did with my childhood and my decision making and my parents and their decision making. Like, it might not even be wise to put it out there because it was so like a diary. Like if I sat there and talked to a therapist, everything she wrote and the heartfelt feelings and stuff, it was in that. It was in that.
Now, you've mentioned them all throughout this interview. I think it's time that we talk about him. Your uncle, my brother,
my guy.
Oh man, the one that we call Wize El Jefe. Before we talk about the show that you all do now, that's on the BS3 network, talk to me about the relationship and the bond that you two share, because it seems to be the two of you are like each other's best friend. That's the vibe I get when I look at the two of you.
Well, not to assume that I'm his best friend.
I like that.
Not to assume that I'm his best friend, but I think we grew up in the same village. You can lose your way for so long, you know. But when you go back, when you take that dark trip through soul and try to find out your purpose in life, you're only going to feel the comfort of the loved ones, your villages, the true ones. But before all the materialistic and everything came into play in the world, started making everything so fast and microwave.
Right.
And we lived with each other. Top bunk, bottom bunk. We know each other.
Right.
We just, and then I respect his journey and his path. And he may not respect my journey and path fully, but he respects that I navigated my way out of it. Right. I would believe that he respects that I navigated my way out of it, and I think it was more for him to know how real I was.
Right.
Because I always knew that he was that positive type of person, that thoughtful person, say the right things. And I'm totally opposite. It's like the Odd Couple. And you see how many seasons they ran for. Right. That's what I'm trying to do. You see how many seasons they raised, how many children they raised. But he's my brother.
Yeah.
He's my uncle, but he's my brother because my grandmother's my mother. She took that role when I moved in. Right. So I'm not his nephew. I'm his foster brother.
Right.
Yeah, you want to use the technical terms. I'm his foster brother, adopted brother, whatever you want to say. That's my brother. Yeah. I say uncle because it's okay. I feel it's not wrong with saying that, even though he's younger. Sometimes growing up, it's like, man, you just my cousin, dude. I'll beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're an older person. You got my uncle. Like, get out of here. But he's my uncle, man. He said the right things. He gave me wisdom that I ignored because he was young.
Right.
He tried. Like, so he may not know it until he hear this, but there's things he told me and mentioned, and even if it wasn't in the nicest way. See, he's one of those people, which is crazy. He's one of those people I do not want to disappoint. Back then, I didn't care because I was older.
Right.
But now he's my uncle. No matter how old he is.
Right.
And he's one of those people that ended up on that list that saying something that even makes me think that he's disappointed will impact my thought process. It will make me reevaluate things and look at where he's coming from and why he would say that. So he's one of those people. He's my brother. We cool. We best friends. We hang out. I'm going to see him this weekend. Like, that's what we do. We just the odd couple that works.
Did this begin? And where do you all want to take the show?
Honestly, I don't know how this began. He was networking, and he came to me and said, BS3 is a network. Think about getting, and they got a Roku TV channel, and do you want to do it? And I was like, Roku TV? I said, no man, people with Roku. Sure, I'll do it. Now, mind you, I told him I had nothing to do with this. You're gonna produce it. You're gonna feed, because this is what I learned, and he's grasping that. I realized that with this show. You just gotta throw me the ball. I'm taking it to the hoop. I'm taking it to the end zone.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the goal, whatever topic, life, sports. I'm just gonna listen. I'm not a sports analyst, but there's people that's not analysts that look at sports and they can misinterpret that as life.
That's true.
So now I'm gonna question everything. I question everything. I'm gonna point. You could do the positive part, and then I'm gonna give my conspiracy theorist people something. to something to think about. Like I'm gonna paint this picture so that it's something that it could be a masterpiece, it could be trash. I don't know, but you're gonna look at it for a minute and look at this picture and try to decipher it. So, and he, like I said, all you gotta do is call me. That's what he has that a lot of people don't have.
Entrepreneur, podcaster, author, Papi Jae, joins on Revelations. And now we have come to the wonderful part of the show where we call Plug Tunin. So in honor of De La Soul, we allow our guests to plug or promote his or her heart's desire. In this case, it's his. And all I have to say to the one who is known as Papi Jae, the floor, sir, is yours.
Oh, this is link session? I ain't no different than my uncle, man. Check out Stuck in My Mind podcast. Run them numbers up. We need that boost. So Stuck in My Mind podcast, you can find it on all major platforms. You can find it on YouTube. You can check out Real Wize TV. We're trying to start a production company that and give more assistance to other people, upcoming podcasters. You can holler at us for questions, pick our brains. We do graphic and designs. We do video editing. We have a team that's dedicated to the company, dedicated to the brand, dedicated to the village. You can check out my book, From Prison to Peace, Plush Life, on Amazon, iBook. I would say it's an interesting read. It's a thought-provoking book. If I had to give it an exact title, it's thought-provoking. You want to check out Real Wize Radio, download that app. Let's run these apps up. The more people try to get it twisted, the app for us, our goal is to get it downloaded. We invite people to join the radio station and promote on the radio station because that's what it's there for. It's our platform. I don't even do nothing. I just program it. Wize tells you what to do. You want to check out our new show on BS3 Network. You can find BS3 Network on Roku TV. Papi Jae and Wize El Jefe. That's come on at 10 o'clock. I think he said C Central Time.
Yeah.
If I heard it right.
That's correct.
And just stay tuned, man. We collabing, we cross promoting. We doing this right. You ain't gotta be greedy. There's enough food and money for everybody. We are the village. And that is my thing. I got a Papi's Confidential. I'm still up in the air, but it will definitely be exclusive to Patreon page because I will be giving up some smoke, fire smoke. So you're gonna catch, but it's exclusively to TikTok and a little 3 minute, 2 minute, 30 second, depending on what I give you. That's where you get your snippets at. It will no longer be on YouTube channels or anything because we got a business that we gotta protect. And plugs. Check out Revelations. As you can see, YouTube, Acast, Patreon. He has a Patreon page. I gotta be his Patreon. I didn't even see that. I slipped past my eye. Listen, man, it costs nothing to support. It costs nothing to like. It costs nothing to share. And I'm dead serious with this. Like, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. We're fighting over crumbs when there's a lot of food out there. Like, let's do better. And that is my final word. Son, you want to say something since you're throwing up the heart? Yes. You want to say something? Yes. Nah, get out of here. I'll be done in a minute. Throwing up mad little hearts. And that's it. I mean, we are the village. That's I stand by that. I live by that.
Bye-bye.
I embody that. We are the village. And if you're in a villager, prayers and thoughts. That's it. I mean, thoughts and prayers. Like I pray for you. You know, wish everybody the best. And I don't think I got anything else to say. I don't really told you Wize does all the promotion stuff.
Right.
I freestyle.
I see.
Hi, son. Don't put an L. You're not losing. L's for losers. We don't do that.
Podcast entrepreneur, author, and as you can see, father, a wonderful father at that. Papi Jae, joining me on Revelations, man. Thank you so much for joining me. I totally
thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to be me, and thank you for future ventures, because I'm pretty sure me and you gonna link up somewhere down the line.
I agree. And I look forward to it. I agree. You're a villager. I got that vibe, man.
Yeah, so,
brother.
You know, anytime you need a guest call out, like I give all the shows that I do that I get that vibe. If a guest calls out, call me.
All right.
Wise up, reach out. I'll fill in.
All right. I will.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a few podcasters that I be the village. I gotta lead by example, so I'm available.
All right. Well, thank you again, man. I appreciate it.
In the Oxford Dictionary, it means a building in which people are legally held as punishment for a crime they have committed or while awaiting trial. In other ways, it means being trapped in your mind by certain conditions in life. For Papi Jae, it was a place where he found redemption and a launching pad for his purpose. Family and community mean a lot to him. In his heart, what matters most is the sense of oneness and a power of a loving group. That speaks to the heart of this man. The Bible says, "Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ." One of our biggest reasons we are on this earth is to lighten the load of those around us and those who come after us. Being a responsible family member can do just that, but in Papi Jae's eyes, family is more than just blood. It's that sense of community where he wants all of us to be set free.
A surprise.
Many thanks to Papi Jae for giving us his perspective on life.
You know what I'm saying? So chill. If you see me,
and why don't you join us every Tuesday where you will see a different person on this particular show being interviewed by yours truly each and every week. For changing the world one conversation at a time, I'm Cole Johnson, and this has been Revelations.
Thank you for tuning into Revelations. To download this episode, go to Acast and type Revelations. For apparel, go to Spring and type Revelations. Music by Lakey Inspired.